Hello and welcome along to another episode and the start of the 7th season from this FM22 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. We're back today for part 48 and we're back for a new season. A difficult start away at Leeds for Bristol City. We're still at the same club, but as the title may suggest, it's been a little bit of a difficult summer because in a certain position, I'm sure you can guess which, we've lost a lot of stars. We're incredibly weak compared to last year. We've missed out on so many targets. I've actually written a list as we've gone along of all the players the Director of Football's tried to sign and that have opted to join other clubs. But we have been aided a little bit financially, so we'll take a look at that too. So if you're looking forward to a new season, hopefully a successful one with Bristol City, please do put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from 2 long-term stories. Of course, we had transfer deadline day yesterday in the Hemel Hempstead save. It's been a busy summer in that one, and you can catch up with that playlist in the eye above as well as much, much more. But let's get started with summer transfer business by starting with the man who's injured at the top of the screen, which you can see. Luka Ilic was the permanent player who was out of contract. He's now got sprained knee ligaments, but he did sign a new deal. A very slight pay cut, but a lot of money for what he is. What I didn't realise is he's actually a fan's favourite here. He's played 159 league games. He's had a couple of incredibly successful years 3 or 4 seasons ago. And the fans absolutely love him. So maybe that's why he's been kept on. But I'd rather that money had been spent on a striker, which hasn't happened just yet. Of course, we did lose the legend that is Kalantari. We will have a look at the rest of the transfers though. It's basically a summer of near misses. The bank balance is very good. That is because of a former player, Antoine Semenyo, who left his former club, Bournemouth, to go to Watford for an initial, believe this, £39 million. Bristol City had a sell on, and I've written this down, 3.2 million we got up front, and we could get another 2.9 out of the deal. So a brilliant moment for us for what is virtually a good player at Championship level and a maybe okay Premier League one. Certainly not a superstar, certainly not a £40 million man, but maybe that's why our Director of Football's struggling, because it seems to be a very, very inflated market. But regardless, that was helpful at the start of the summer. We have also got a few ins and outs too. Let's go and get through them. So a bit like our first season at Dover, there's been a lot of young players coming in for the 23s and a lot of staff as well actually. Seems to be a big area they're trying to improve. There is potentially a centre-half coming in Marlon Torres. But because there's not a huge amount of transfer budget this year, it seems like they're going for older players, which is going against the you must sign under 23s club culture item. So it's a little bit difficult on that front. But if we could get Torres for 140 grand, it would be a great deal. I wouldn't bank on it though, because there have been a few players we've missed out on already. If we start the transfer history by looking at the released players, 2 first team names have left the club. Archie Mayer was the number 2 keeper last season. He has now gone up to Scotland, to Dundee, a former under-19 Scottish international. And then Simon Kajar has retired. The legend, the brilliant holding midfielder. And now he's ahead of youth development. Not a very good one, but hasn't been kept on by Bristol City. I'll always be thankful for what he did for us, but at 38, he's earned his retirement. If we have a look at the transfers in and out though, there's not a huge amount on the ins at the start of the summer. A couple of youngsters that came in, Alistair Bass, who's not going to be very good, and Alex Torrezola, who falls in the same category. The big news, though, as I'm sure you've noticed, is on the other side, because we already knew Arian Kalantari was going back after his loan. Then what happened was a disaster. John Lestrange, 18 million to Fulham, who incidentally at the start of the same season before we joined, signed George Armstrong, who was another wonder kid centre-half, a brilliant youngster through our academy. I hope there's a few more of them to come. But now that's 2 in 2 seasons they've taken, and John Lestrange went for 18 million. There is a 20% sell-on clause, so hopefully that will come into Bristol City's hands in the future. But after losing Kalantari, to lose your replacement as well, it's an unmitigated disaster. There's no other way of putting it. A couple of other youngsters out on loan. If we move on to the second half of the window so far, 2 first team signings, 5 that we've missed out on. In terms of outs, there's a couple of other sort of squad players that have left too. So lots of youngsters out on loan, but Christian Salvador went to Ibiza for £110,000 up front. There's a few little add-ons in that one, but a decent backup player. And then Niall John, very unhappy last year, has gone to Hull for 725 grand. A quick mention for Mark Woods, the Gibraltar youngster who came through last year. He's gone out on loan to Wigan, where he's expected to be a fringe player, annoyingly. So I hope he gets some football and improves, because he was someone we were looking to promote to the first team. As it stands, it hasn't worked out, but his potential has gone up again. It's now 4-star, and he could become a good championship player. In terms of the ins, another 3 youngsters. So we've got Lucas Turpinine. He's pretty poor, it's got to be said. Frank Hollis from FC United, who I don't mind, but isn't going to make it. And Ben James, who came in from Connors Quay. If he was a couple of years younger, he might have a chance. The 2 first team signings, though, are the experienced Paddy McNair, £3.6 million for a 32-year-old from Sheffield United. Of course, an incredibly experienced international footballer, a really versatile player, can play centre-half, can play right-back, can play centre midfield. But it's not my first choice, and it wasn't the director of footballs, to be fair. There's already 2 midfielders he lost out on at this point. But I think McNair will go in as our box-to-box, with Amos probably dropping into the holding role. If McNair was suitable or natural in the holding role, we probably would have had him back there. But as it is, it still keeps the same strength in midfield, which I think is all we can ask for. And Jez George seems to like experience, despite going against all of the club vision items. The second one, I'm a little bit more excited about. We played Cardiff in the last episode, they got relegated, and there has been a bit of furore because they're a rival of Bristol City, the Severn Derby. But Ryan Giles has come in for 5.25 million, and I think he's pretty good. It will lead to a slight change in tactic because he's a natural left winger and he's a left-footed winger. He's a proper get down the line and get the cross in. What that means is Thompson will switch to the right to do the same, and because of the lack of strikers at the club, Lys Mousset will then go through the middle. It means Greenwood can be an option in all 3 as well, but it is an area we desperately need to improve. Giles has just been recalled by Wolves in real life. He's a class player, not the most agile, but he's quick, he's a good crosser of the ball, and if we can find Lys Mousset enough times, I'd still bank on him to score a fair few. So mid-table football, it looks like at the minute. But I just had a little look back to last season, and Arian Kalantari, Hayden Muller, and Luke Amos all joined on deadline day. Jake Vokins came late in the window too. So I'm not giving up hope yet. I know that won't have been Jez George, but we saw last transfer window, he got us Joe Rothwell on deadline day, he got us Sergi Roberto late in the window. I'm banking on him to get 1 or 2 more, and if he can add that centre-half, that would be a good start. So, as we are at the moment, we've got a good enough squad to survive, no doubt about that. But the problem we've got this year is that we're not able to just avoid relegation. We've got to get mid-table. The board are devastated that we're not signing under 23s. Are they going to get to the stage where they block Jez George from making signings? I don't know. But young players cost a lot of money, and we haven't got a transfer budget at the minute. But mid-table finish should be possible. I'm not sure the playoffs is realistic the year after, so we might need to go pretty quickly then. The positives though, improvement to training facilities, youth facilities and junior coaching on the way. I'm really trying to leave this club in a better position off the pitch than when I joined. And if I can do that, as well as performing decently on the pitch, I consider it job done. And hopefully then a Premier League club comes calling. But let's go and have a look at the squad for what's left. For now we're going to stick with this. But I feel we may need to promote 2 or 3 just for the cup games to maybe fill the squad and maybe try and promote and find that next start because it's a good team. But if we have a look at the age, it's so unlike a squad that we would build in FM. There's a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old who are backups. The rest of the team is 25 and over. And a good half of it is over 30. It is an incredibly experienced and aging squad. But it sort of reflects the budget we've got available. We haven't got 10 million to go and sign a young player. And that's where the difficulty has come. I'm going to have a quick look at where we're predicted to finish in the championship this year. And then I'm going to show you the 5 we missed out on. So the media have us to finish in 11th place, sort of in that mid-table bunch, anywhere between, 7th down to 14th. And if we can finish somewhere in there, I take it. I know we're not going to get the 7th we got last year because we had 2 of the best strikers at the level. And we haven't got them this season. But if we can have a good year, I'll be happy nonetheless. Let me show you what might have been though. 5 players that could have joined this club. You're going to have to excuse the keyboard while we do it. First up, the first central midfield target was Alder Fuentes, a 29-year-old Peruvian, a natural holding mid and centre mid, and probably a slightly better version of McNair. More importantly, the way we've been playing this year, 16 jumping reach, 16 heading, 6'5". It would have been a dream signing. As it is, he chose to go to Mallorca, and we lost out on a brilliant target, and an international footballer too. The second one is the higher end defender we were trying to sign before going for the backup option, which we're in negotiations with now. So Callum Doyle, they tried to sign for about 4 million quid. He's chosen to go to Leeds instead from Burnley. He's a very solid centre-half. He's only 23, so would have met that objective, which is really frustrating. And he's a class act. Again, 6'3", jumping reach 16, great personality. Not sure about the diving into tackles, but would have arguably been an upgrade on what we have at the moment. The third player, I went for Torres instead of Torre, which explains why I couldn't find him, was the other central midfield option. A natural holding mid and centre mid again, but unfortunately he's another one that got away. And you can see he would have been a real enforcer in that holding role. Again, 6'2", 13 jumping reach. It just frustrates me seeing the ones we've lost out on. If we move on to the fourth option, which was the winger choice behind Ryan Giles, that man was Marlos Moreno, who could play off the right or left, again 30 years of age, but a very solid winger and would have been a much lower price too. So perhaps one that got away there, but I'm not too disappointed to get Giles instead of him. I've got to be honest on that front. And then the last one, which was a really annoying one, was a new backup goalkeeper, which we still haven't had. And it was another one that would have filled the youth quota, because 20-year-old Zhu Liang, an England under-21 international, chose to go to Everton instead, which I completely understand, but it means two of those under-23 players that would have filled that club culture item, that would have given us youth and exuberance in the squad, have not joined. So they're the two I'm most annoyed we've missed out on, but in truth, all 5 of them would have been big upgrades to the squad. So I think I wanted to show that just to prove that as well as us missing out on some good players, it's not that Jez George has done a Chris Casper and he's been inactive and he's not been able to sign players. It's just that perhaps he's been aiming too high and aiming for players that a lot of other clubs want. And as a result, many of them have chose other options over Bristol City. Hopefully next year with the improved facilities, the improved youth setup as well, we'll have better players coming through, we'll be more attractive as a proposition to other players. But for now, we've got to make do with just 2 signings so far. We need a big deadline day in the next episode. But for now, we've got to head to Leeds away. A side that I'd imagine will be one of the favourites for promotion. I didn't have a look when we looked at where we were finishing. What have the media predicted for Leeds? 3rd. So yeah, I think we can fairly say that this is going to be a difficult one. Just seeing Leeds have got the best left back in the league, one of the best centre mids. So they've got 3 from the best 11 in the division. I think it's going to be tough. Let's go and pick our 11. Let's see what lineup we can produce. And hopefully we'll be able to get a result and continue last season's momentum. Well, here is our squad for today. I think it's fair to say it's pretty defensive heavy, because I know we're getting another centre-half in potentially, but we've got 8 defenders. We've got the likes of Roberto McNair on the bench. And bar Porter, Greenwood and Rothwell, with the Illich injury, we don't really have any backup options going forward. We've also got a debutant up there. That will be Ryan Giles, who will be the only new starter today. So maybe that's the positive, is that there will be continuity in the squad. It's the same back 5. It's 3 of the midfielders that were here last year. We've opted for Williams above Paddy McNair for the first day. And then Thompson, Giles and Mousset the front 3. Slight tweak with 2 out-and-out wingers rather than an inverted one. But hopefully it won't hurt Thompson's form and Ryan Giles can be a superstar. Leeds Mousset through the middle is going to be interesting. I hope he can get us goals. But there isn't really an option because we haven't got any other players. So the familiar looking 11 is Josh Griffiths between the sticks, Darboe and Bryan the fullbacks with Atkinson and Muller centre-half, Amos, Shalabar and Williams the midfield 3, Thompson, Giles and Mousset the front 3. A big start to the season, away to Ellen Road. Can we get the points? Well, here we go. The championship season starts away at Leeds. Some good players and some familiar names in that Leeds side. Lewis Potter has been much subject of debate in our live streams recently, not for anything to do with us, but interesting fortunes he's had with different people. Joe Willock, Angelino in that expected team of the year, as is Salai. Ted Mengi, bit of a Dundee United legend for us last year. He's available at centre-half for them, with Jayden Bogle at right-back. This is a very good Leeds team, and it's a side that should be competing for promotion. So for us, we've just got to take the pressure off the lads, get into the first half, and hope we can start in style. I'm not confident though. Well, it's been a surprisingly quiet 18 minutes and Angelino, the left back, has got a knock. He puts in a free kick there which is straight at Griffiths and very easy to deal with. And Joe Bryan can play out to Ryan Giles. Can the new winger produce the goods? He's quick, but not quick enough to get away from the fullback. Brian puts it into Amos. We're still playing good football, but have we got that cutting edge? Thompson flicks down. Giles is in. I think he might have been off. The flag goes up. I've got to say, he took 5 touches there before putting the ball in the net, and the flag did not go up until the final one. That is so infuriating. We're not in a VAR league. But Ryan Giles denied a debut goal. An excellent counter-attacking move though. Half an hour gone, goalless. And we look a match for Leeds as we've got a corner with Joe Bryan to the back post. Atkinson loses out in the air, but Giles will get there and he can get the ball back in. He's on his favoured left side, chooses to cut inside instead and goes on a mazy run. Falls to Joe Bryan, up to Mousset, and the shot's over the bar. I do wonder if not having Kalantari or Lestrange is going to be the difference this year. It's the only thing that's missing is a top-class striker, and I'd still bank on us to be contenders. But at the moment, we look a mid-table side. A good footballing team, solid defensively, no big cutting edge. Into the second half. And look who Leeds have brought on to replace the injured Angelino. It's Callum Doyle, who he chose to join over us, and he might be regretting it now. A classic corner routine, back post from Bryan, Atkinson heads it back across goal, and Mousset's lurking at the near post to glance in. The keeper and the defender in no man's land. 1-0 Bristol City is happening again, and we're going to be very reliant on set pieces this year. If we can make the most of them though, it doesn't matter. Callum Doyle on, and now he's on the losing side. I'd love to beat them after he's made that decision, as Atkinson from the back to Amos. If we can get a second here, we can start to party as Mousset got support from Thompson, tries to find Giles but doesn't quite go through. That's another positive as well. Max Thompson looking brilliant on the right, not impacting his form at all. We've struggled for right wingers in this year's FM, and he switched over with no problem as Muller comes forward. Got support from Darbo. Back into the team as a chance to cross. Will be coming off in a minute as he's pouring on a yellow. Oh, Mousset hits the bar. I thought it had dipped enough. It hadn't. And with a quarter of the game to go, we'll make some subs. First man off will be Darbo. 6.6 rating, but on a yellow, not playing that well. Venegas will come on for him. And then Ryan Giles is knackered. He only joined last week. He'll be replaced by Sam Greenwood. He'll become the inverted winger that we had last year, because we know that shape well. And in fact, we'll switch Thompson over. Makes it nice and easy. Fresh legs down the right. We'll give it 5 more before making the final sub. As it's a throw for Leeds on the left-hand side with Doyle. Don't let us regret not taking these chances, because we've done really well from set pieces. Kelechi to Willock, 25 yards out. Wonderful strike. Lewis Potter puts the rebound in. Surely that's offside. Who played him on there? I can't see a world in which Keane Lewis Potter was onside there. I've got to look at it again. Just want to try and get a freeze frame as the shot is taken. There. Oh, he's just on. It's Atkinson who dropped in. That's frustrating. It's 1-1. I mean, we would have taken this at the start, but given the way the game's panned out, we've deserved a victory, really. Shalabar's had a poor game in central midfield. Joe Williams is very injury prone. So I think what we'll do is we'll bring on Paddy McNair for a debut. Shalabar will put on to... In fact, he's better on the support duty anyway. I might put him in as a deep line playmaker. Just see if that makes any difference. And it does protect the left side of the defence a bit too. Well, 5 minutes to go. And away at one of the promotion contenders, without stars that we had last year, it's been an exceptional display. I know from open play we've not created an awful lot, but we're not going to this year. I hate to say it. We've got to make the most of set pieces and attacking positions as Greenwood's played in from Mousset, cuts it back to him again, blocked to Max Thompson. We've gone and nicked it in the 93rd minute. Thompson back on the left and doing what he does best. Lys Mousset looks just as good up front. And I go back to what I've said virtually every episode since I've been here. Why on earth was the last manager not giving him a game? I do not get it. What a player. Let's drop the duties now because we need to cling on. So we're going to be winger on support on both sides. We're going to be deep line playmaker on defend. We're going to be ball winning midfielder on defend or centre mid on defend. Doesn't matter. Fullbacks will both go defensive as well. 90 seconds to cling on. And this might give me a bit of hope for the season. No higher tempo. Time waste all the time. You all know the drill. We're going to see it a lot this year because we haven't got the Kalantari or Lestrange to get us 3-4 goals a game. We've still got ability, all right. Let's get ourselves back. Let's just hold our shape And if we can hold on for the 90 seconds, it will be the perfect start to the season. And if Jez George can add 1 or 2 before the end of the window, we could well have liftoff here. As we're back in the 95th minute, Josh Griffiths has got a goal kick or a free kick just outside his 6-yard box. The time wasting is on to another level. I think that would be fair to say. And Atkinson is waiting to take it off him short. Now, can he play out? Why are you doing backflicks there? Amos gives it to McNair, who switches right. Greenwood loses out in possession. Don't do it. We're in the 96th minute. Why are we playing so long anyway? In behind to Salai, who gets there first. Cuts back into the box. Free kick given for offside. That has to be the final whistle. It has to be. We've played 96 minutes. There were only 4 added on. Griffiths is doing his best to time waste. But the final whistle has to go. He sent everyone up. The whistle does go. And we have won away at Leeds with a brilliant counter-attacking, set-piece dominant performance at Ellen Road. And that's one of the promotion favourites. I tell you what, if Jez George can find one attacking gem, we've got one hell of a squad here. And we will still compete for the playoffs because the spirit, the attitude, the personalities are just next level. Well, what a start to the league season. Debuts for McNair and Giles as well. Couple of injuries for Leeds which won't help their promotion push. But we're going to next be back to see if we can get anyone to help ours. If we have a look at the schedule, big games around the turn of the month. Middlesbrough were in that playoff mix last year. Hull were mid-table. I think we'll show Borough and then deadline day. Hopefully we'll have had 2 rounds of the League Cup by then. Cheltenham should be a winnable match in midweek. But what an opportunity we've got. We're one quality attacker. We're one Kalantari. We're one Lestrange away from being promotion contenders. If we can keep people fit, yes, we've got an experienced squad. Yes, there's a few older heads. But we know our strengths and there's great personalities here. If you did enjoy the episode, the transfer special, the start to the season, please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know in the comments what you think of the players that have been signed. Let me know your opinion on the near misses as well. Which one would have been best for us? What did you think of the performance? And can we win enough of those tight games this year to get ourselves in playoff contention? The squad is littered with great personalities. That's what I'm holding on to at the minute. If you want to stay up to date and find out how we do, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back with Hemel Hempstead tomorrow, armed with our new squad, following the overhaul in the last 2 transfer episodes. And then this one will be back in 2 days' time, with transfer deadline day under Jez George's leadership. I hope you'll come and join me for that. In the meantime, you can find other episodes and playlists up in the eye above, as well as the podcast channel and the live streams on Twitch. But thank you very much for watching. Your continued support as always into a new season. And I'll see you next time for the big day.